Alrighty, guys. So we are in Math 1240, that's Math for Liberal Arts, Chapter 1, Section 1.5, and we are looking at question number 12. So this one basically is talking about John Lloyd is considering buying water filter with reusable water bottle instead of buying bottled water, like the store-bought bottled water. So some basic essential information they're giving us is they're telling us he normally drinks 3 bottles a day. Each of these bottles are 16.9 ounces capacity. So he is purchasing 24 packs of these 16.9 ounce bottles for $2.89. If he were to go buy a reusable water bottle, that would cost him about $10. And we're saying, of course, unless you lose it, the bottle should last you forever. So keeping that in mind, these are the different filter options. So we have a faucet mounted filter, which can cost about $28, and it comes with one filter cartridge. And then if you have to buy a refill pack of the filters, that would be $33 for 3 pack. Now, each filter will last up to 100 gallons, so it will filter out 100 gallons of water. The second option is a water filter pitcher, which will cost about $22. And again, it comes with one filter cartridge. And then if we need to purchase additional refill filters, that would be $20 for a 4 pack. And in this instant, the water filter will last 40 gallons. So it will filter out 40 gallons or approximately 4 months, but we'll go with gallons here since that's what was given for the first option. The under sink filter will cost $130. And again, it includes one filter cartridge. And then if we have to do refill filters, that would be about $60 each. And then you can see this filter will last up to 500 gallons. So now basically what we have to do is to determine which option is the cheapest. We first need to see the bottled water that he is purchasing right now. How much does that cost him on a annual basis, yearly basis? So you can see they're asking us how many gallons of water does he drink per year? How many bottles does that come out to be, and how much would it cost? So we need to do that calculation first before we can get into the filter calculation. So again, I have set up a Google Sheets to help us out with this. And again, you will see I've copied this example over, so you have all of this information right here handy. You will also notice that at the bottom of this problem, it gives you some hints over here, and it's asking you to, figure out your calculation based on these hints. So I would definitely ask you guys to look through these hints over here to help you out. But let's go back and see how much is that bottled water that he's buying from the store coming out to be. So you will see I've got the bottled water consumption over here. Each bottle is 16.9 ounces. He's drinking, excuse me, he is drinking 3 bottles a day. They told us that here in the problem itself. So basically the idea is, okay, if he's drinking 3 bottles a day, and each bottle is 16.9 ounces, that's 3 times 16.9. And you can see that's coming out to be a total of 50.7 ounces a day. And then we converted that into gallons, since you can see all the filter calculations were in gallons. And then your question is also wanting to know how much is he drinking in gallons per year. So the gallon to ounces conversion, and again, you can do a simple Google search for that, but 1 gallon is approximately, or maybe exactly equal to 128 ounces. So you will see in this calculation over here, I took our 50.7 ounces and divided it by 128. Again, I'm using cell references, so I don't have to keep going in and typing the numbers again. So you can see this is giving us approximately every day he's drinking about 0.39609, 375 gallons a day. So now we need to convert this into 365 years. Now, of course, that bottle capacity will stay the same. But if he's drinking 3 bottles a day, well, that means he is going to be drinking 3 times 365 bottles in a year, right? 1 year has 365 days. So we're taking his daily bottles multiplied by 365. Same calculation carries forward. You can see over here, then we're saying, okay, so that means we're going to take his daily total ounces consumption and multiply it by 365. And then, of course, you do that same calculation with gallons. So his gallons was 0.03960, multiply that by 365, and you can see it comes out to be 144.5742,188. Now, you can actually do this same calculation over here a little differently. So we already have our ounces in yearly consumption here, right? So what you can basically do is you can take that total of the ounces, the 18,505.5, and you can actually divide it by 128 again to convert it to gallons. So I just showed you an alternative calculation in there, but obviously you can just do the 365 multiplied by the 0.039 that I showed you before. And honestly, you could have done that calculation differently over here also, like for your ounces. So you could have done, hey, I have 1,095 bottles, and I know each bottle is going to be a capacity of 16.9. So you can see that calculation could also have been done from here. So honestly, it doesn't matter how you do that math. There are two different ways of doing it. For the total number of bottles, there's only one calculation, 3 times 365. But again, I'm just showing you alternative methods. Choose the one you like best. Okay, so now we know how much water John Lloyd is drinking in a year, and we have that in gallons. And again, remember, they're asking us this question in gallons. So let's go ahead and copy and paste this over here. I'm going to check my answer, and you will see that part of the question came out correct. So how many bottles does that amount to? Well, that's number we also have here, 1,095. So let's go ahead and paste that in here. So we did good on that part also. Now for the cost. So let's get down to our spreadsheet here. Now remember, again, they're telling us each of these 24 packs of a 16.9 ounce bottle cost us $2.89. So that's the 289 from there. So again, if the whole pack is costing us $2.89, and we know there are 24 bottles in the pack, you take that 289 and divide by 24, right? So that's telling you each bottle is costing us approximately 12 cents. So now we can come back over here and we can say, okay, we have 1,095 bottles in a year. So we have that number. We know each bottle is going to cost 12 cents. So again, we can go ahead and multiply our 1,095 with the 12 cents, and that will tell us how much those bottles are going to cost us. And you can see this is $131.86. So let's go ahead and check that answer, and you can see that one also comes out to be correct. Obviously, since this is a dollar amount, you want to leave it at 2 decimal places, not more than that. Okay, so this will now act as our baseline price. So the filter comparison is going to be based on this. So if it's going to be cheaper than that, then, of course, the filter option is going to be a better one. So this one will take a little bit of calculation. You will see I've got our cost of $10 over here for the reusable water bottle. So that will be something we will have to take into consideration in our final cost. So let's break down this filter calculation over here. Okay, give me just 1 second and I'll walk you through this calculation here. Alrighty, guys. So yeah, sorry, I was just cleaning that up so it would be visually better for you to see. Anyway, so we are looking at how to figure out which filter option will be a cheaper one over a period of 1 year. So again, obviously we want to do this calculation over 365 days or 1 year. So let's take a look at the filter calculations. So remember, we've got face mounted, which is the base price when you buy it is $28, and that includes 1 filter. The refill pack for that was 3 pack for $33. Water filter pitcher is $22. Again, it includes 1 filter to begin with, and then you can get a 4 pack refill for $20. And then the under sink filter option was $130. Again, it comes with one filter. And then you can do a refill filter for $60. So you can see I went ahead and calculated what the cost of each refill filter would be. So that's $33 divided by 3, which of course would come out to be $11 a piece. For the pitcher, it was $20 for 4-pack. So that's 20 divided by 4, which gives us 5. And then of course for the under the sink, it's one refill filter at $60. Of course, that price will be 60 divided by 1, which is 60. And then they're telling us what is the capacity that each filter will filter water at. So we know the faucet mounted is 100 gallons. Pitcher filter is 40 gallons. And then of course the under the sink filter is 500 gallons. Now remember, our example for John Lloyd is he is drinking about 145 gallons in a year, right? You can see this is the exact value here without the rounding. So it's 144.5742188, right? So we're going to do our calculations based on that. So the idea is with the faucet mounted filter, if one filter has a capacity of 100 gallons, well, we take our value of, you will see that 144.57, and we divide it by the capacity of the filter. So that's where that number is coming from. So it's 144.57 something something divided by 100. So you can see that means we'll need a total of 1.4457 filters. Now remember, one filter already comes when you buy the faucet mounted filter itself. So that's why we need to subtract one from it, because we will only need one additional refill filter, right? And we won't even be using all of it. We will only be using 0.4457 capacity of it, because if you look at your hint over here, they are telling you that based on the number of gallons, you need to assume you will be using your filters in decimals. So you are not rounding up and saying I'm using one filter that's included with the device and then one additional filter. You will say, no, I'm only using, in this example was 0.4457. So now how much will that cost us? Well, if one filter is costing us $11, then 0.4457, of course, is only going to cost us multiplied by 11. And you can see that is coming out to be a cost of $4.90, which means how much is that total going to be? So that's going to be $28 for the face mounted filter device itself, right? The faucet mounted. So you have the faucet mounted filter device itself, plus the cost of that additional 0.4457 filter, which was $4.90, right? So you're going to take those two values and add them together. And then to get the total cost, remember you need to include that $10 of the bottled water. So that means you're taking the $32.90, which is the value of the face mounted device, plus the $4.90 for its filter, plus the $10 for the reusable water bottle, because obviously he's got to carry the water in something, right? So that's your total cost for the faucet mounted filter over here. Then for the pitcher, you can see since the capacity of these filters are only 40 gallons, so that means we are taking our 144.57, value, etc. And then you are dividing it by the capacity for each filter, which is 40 gallons. So you can see that means we need 3.614 filters. Subtract the one filter, which is already included in the device, which means out of the refill filters, we need 2.614. So again, each filter value was $5. So that's going to be, as you can see here, $5 multiplied with the 2.614. So again, our total cost, including the device, is going to be $22 plus the $13.07 for the refill filter itself. Now, in this last example, you got to be careful, because you can see since this filter had a capacity of 500 gallons, even the one that's included with the device, and we are only consuming 144.57 ounces of, gallons, not ounces of water, you will actually see we don't need a refill filter because we're still using the filter that came with the device itself. So we are not having to take into consideration the value of that additional refill filter. So we are not subtracting one, but we're subtracting zero from this because, like I said, we're still using the original filter that came with the device, which means the cost of our filter is going to be $0, which means our total cost is only going to be $130, which is what we pay for the device itself, and there will be no additional filter cost. And then remember, to each of these dollar amounts here, so $32.90, we're adding $10 to get our total cost, which becomes $42.90. Same thing for the pitcher. You're going to take your $35.07 and add the $10 from the reusable water bottle here. So that goes up to $45.07. And then same thing for the under the sink. You have $130 plus the $10 for the reusable water bottle, which goes up to $140. Now, our cost for using bottled water from the store is $131.86, right? So you're doing a comparison based on, I don't think I can get those numbers on the same screen here, but basically you are going to take that total value of 131.86 and you are going to subtract our total cost of $42.90 for the faucet mounted water filter, and you can see that means we will be saving $88.95 on the face mounted. So repeat the same calculation with the pitcher. So same thing, we would be taking that 131.86 for the bottled water and subtracting the 45.07 for the pitcher option, and that will save us $86.78. And then of course for the last one here, you are going to be taking the total cost of bottled water, which is the 131.86, and subtracting the 140 for the under sink option. And you can see that will actually be more expensive because you're paying $8.14 more for the under the sink option, since obviously bottled water was slightly cheaper in this case. But again, looking at the total cost, you have $131.86 for bottled water, $42.90 for faucet mounted filter, $45.07 for pitcher filter, and then of course $140 for under the sink. So out of these four costs, you can see the cheapest option is $42.90, which means for this question here, which is asking based on the baseline for the bottled water, which option is the cheapest over 1 year? And you can see that is going to be our faucet mounted filter. So let's check that answer. And you will see, yeah, faucet mounted looks good. And then how much are you saving? And this is where this difference of price between 131.86 and 42.90 is going to come into play. And that was a difference of $88.95. So $88.95 will go here, and you can see all parts of our problem are now correct. Okay, so it is a little bit of a longer problem, and it does take a little bit of time to get through this, but be patient. And again, if you want, you guys can use this spreadsheet to help you out, and I will post this in D2L. So again, guys, have a great day. Let me know if you have any questions. Take care, everyone. Good luck.